it. So we're okay. You're good to go.
Yeah, just if you, I would start with the camera outside and you can.
Right.
Oh, we can go over.
Okay. Well, welcome back to this next site visit at Cathedral View. I'm here with James Wrigley from DW Hicks,
Hello.
the project manager. Like usual, we're going to have a walk around the site. If you looked at the video 6 weeks ago, you'll see some massive changes have happened. So follow us around. And we're using our new audio system, so everyone should be able to hear us. Don't you start, Lars. Normally you're the one that's typing. Right, well, we've looked at brick slips when we were at Globeworks, so tell us what we're looking at here.
It's a very similar, it's the same manufacturer, but it's slightly different in that the actual brick on these are acrylic slips. Oh,
okay, yeah.
Now, it's you get slightly more options with regards to finishes and colours.
Yeah.
Derby, well, all council planning departments are.
So which one are we leaning towards?
Okay, on the blues, it is this one, and then actually with the reds, it is in between these two samples. So we're having a third sample made up, which is.
Right,
splits the difference between those.
And if you're thinking you're colourblind, that is a blue. It's actually grey. Okay. Can you just explain where the blues and where the reds are going to be?
Okay. Right. Fundamentally, Block B is curtain walling at ground floor, but then blues or greys for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Block A, the 8 stories, is the blues up to first story level, and reds upwards from there on.
And this is the insulation and then the render on top with the kind of the matting through it, isn't it?
That's correct.
And it'd be about that deep, wouldn't it?
This one is slightly less than at
Globeworks.
Birmingham. It's 140 mil, so about 6 inches of insulation. And again, that was actually stipulated by the building line and making brick dimension for the external. There's more than enough insulation for the actual value calculations on the building.
And you changed the rock wall so that it was not flammable post Grenfell.
That's right. It was previously we were looking at different systems, but they had like a phenolic insulation, obviously.
Oh, what, a phenolic? This is the term for today, a phenolic, right? Come on, well, what's that then?
It's well, if you think of polystyrene or particularly closed cell polystyrene, it might actually have bits out there for underground insulation. Then it's that, and it burns, so it's not good.
Yeah, no. Okay, right. Lead on, sir.
Okay. Right, so as we discussed earlier on, what we're coming up to is Block B.
Yeah.
Block B is substantially different to Block A in that there is a concrete podium slab.
Yeah.
This allows for a much more open space underneath.
Yeah.
Due to the spans, it was either going to be. Sorry.
Oh, I tell you what, come down a bit. Stand in the middle of the. Stand in the middle of the group. So
I'll come down here.
You'll have to start again.
That's okay.
Replay.
That's all right. So what I was saying is that the big difference between this block and the Block A over there is the construction that's going on above our heads is for concrete podium slab.
Yeah.
That allows for a much more open and exposed ground floor area with the amenity spaces needed, lounges, offices, that type of thing, plant space. The second option is a lot of hot rolled steel, big steel girders everywhere. It's expensive, it's time consuming. This is a much more convenient and expedient way of creating your space underneath the first floor. Sorry.
Is it your mum?
Yeah, probably. Making sure I got home.
This is the same as we saw at Globeworks, where they needed the big space in the ground floor for the retail unit and everything. And then above, we're going to have the fusion system.
That's correct. So it's straight back in. Above first floor it's all student accommodation.
And it's much higher as well to the ceiling.
This will be, yes, particularly at this lower level here. As we walk up, you'll see there's a step just about 10 metres further up. And that's to do with the height differences as you go onto Cathedral Road and Queen Street there. Sorry, Cathedral Road there.
Yeah.
At one point, the use of this downstairs or lower bit was slightly different, and it necessitated a level access to out there. That's been and gone as design develops. But even so, we've got this dual slab level. The lower level here is for plants. At the rear of that is a second lounge area for the students, like a viewing area,
Yeah.
TV, that type
There's
of thing.
more
currently.
communal space that we managed to design in here than Cathedral Court.
Yeah.
We wanted more communal space at Cathedral Court, but the university who had signed the lease just said, fill it with as many student rooms as you can with the smallest communal space. So it's great that we've been able to do that a bit more here.
Typical landlord.
Well, yeah, possibly.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. We're working in partnership with the university.
Yeah.
But they haven't taken this one on board. We're going to be using Derwent FM as our operators here. Although it was offered to the university, but they haven't signed up for the lease.
Well, I mean, again, with this one, you've got a lot more office space, back
Yeah.
office space as
Yeah.
well. So it is a better designed building.
Yeah, because with Cathedral Court, we built in the office space that we were asked to build in, but subsequently when actually the team came on site, it didn't quite match what
Well, they were, yeah, exactly.
That's the politically correct.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Okay.
Shall we wander
Yeah.
up? Okay. We will have to be careful, everyone. We've got deliveries in and out all day today, I'm afraid. Lots of things coming in.
Well,
so-
that's what we want to see. This is what we want to see.
You want to see it, you don't want to get squished
No,
by
no,
it.
no.
That's
Don't get squished. Don't get squished, okay?
Yeah, I don't know if we want to wait for people to catch up.
Yeah. Where's the next spot where we're going to stop?
Well,
This is
As-
quite
as an ex-
interesting
yeah,
point.
as an
I tell you,
example.
keep coming behind us then, so that you can be. That's it. Keep coming behind.
we just
so that-
go up to to about
James
where you
can
are now. That's okay, but no further until I. That's going to be
there you
interesting,
go.
though.
Action shot. Yeah. Keep coming. We're here just to see you, mate.
So, as you can see here, what you have in front of you is one of the two cores in this building, effectively the stair core, the lobby area for it, and the lift shaft. Between this and the pillars, you've got external pillars which are all round here, fair-faced pillars, and then you have internal pillars. That's what supports the podium slab above. Obviously, I was saying, with it being an open area, you want as much flexibility as possible. You do still have to have pillars in the middle, otherwise it
Yeah.
collapses on you.
And just kind of for the uninitiated, or just explain what these yellow posts are on the supporting posts. What's it actually creating?
Okay, it is a incredibly strong table which will have the concrete poured on top of it.
So it's effectively a mould, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly. You'll have sections that come up all around the outside, creating like a shallow dish, if you like.
Yeah.
They'll pour the concrete on top, it'll go off, and then they'll take all of these down from underneath, and you're left with your structure.
Yeah. What's the name for this mould, James? Is there a term?
That's just a table.
It's a table.
You know, I call it a table. Everyone seems to. So.
And your concrete floor will come on the top of that.
Yeah.
And when are you going to be pouring that?
The first one should be next Monday. They'll be done in two pours. This section, then the top section. We're looking at Monday and Friday for the week today and a week on Friday.
Brilliant. Okay.
And the whole thickness of it is poured in one go.
Yeah. So although it's done in section by section,
Yeah.
the actual depth of it is one pour. Yeah. It's about 400 mil deep. This one, I think, or 450. One of the two. 400. Right.
Where are we going now, James?
Okay. I tell you what, if we come over here, because I want to move out of the way of the deliveries.
Yeah. Aha. Blue bricks.
Blue bricks. Nice and neat and tidy.
That is a blue brick, okay? It does look grey to me, but that is apparently a blue brick.
Honestly. Good grief.
You can
all over
You can
the
tell me
place.
to bugger off if you want.
No, it's all right. No, I was just moving them out of the
be
way.
off camera.
Right.
But actually, interesting. These are the bathroom pods being delivered, aren't they?
They are, yeah. And
Keep coming.
can we keep coming? Because I don't want anyone.
Squash in a bit.
Yeah. Right, what you are seeing is the delivery of the bathroom pods. You'll have seen similar, but not the same pods at the Globeworks earlier on.
Where have these ones come from, James?
These are from France.
Right, okay.
So the reason why there are so many is that the factory shuts down for a month.
Ah,
Yeah, right in the middle of summer. So we have to have enough to keep going because Again, we drop them in as we're building, and these guys won't be stopping for a month, so we need to have sufficient here.
Good old
And
the French just stop for all. Even the manufacturers closed
just
for a month
closed
in
for a month.
France.
Yeah.
Wow.
So as you can imagine,
Yeah. You don't like the French very much.
well, on a small city centre building site, having to store 60 pods just so
Oh,
you
no.
can keep going
Because
is
normally
Keep the French in
you put the floor in and then they just be delivered in, crane in
that's
position.
it on the day.
Yeah.
So we've got a month's worth instead.
Wow.
Well, that's the reality of development, I guess.
This is it. And
I mean, how much did these pods cost each then?
I couldn't possibly
About
tell you.
it's about £2,000
It
each,
is,
isn't
yes,
it?
it is.
So is this side
You
pro
knew.
Brexit? Is this side pro Brexit?
Oh, well, you wouldn't be surprised to know that there's quite a variance of views on the building site over whether we should be coming and going. I mean, genuinely, most of the chaps who are working here are all from the EU. They're all European.
Yeah,
In fact, that chap we spoke to over there, he just didn't speak a word of English, did he?
No,
That's
not
why he's
very
just looking
much.
at me smiling
Yeah.
like this, going,
So, yeah, we would be stymied without the workforce. Fraser will understand that the costs will be going up next on the next project. if we were-
no costs up, no.
You ought to come in.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So we're now in the back of block A.
Yeah.
Um,
This was to be the garden room.
yeah. Yeah.
Hence, you can see all the red hot rolled steel around. This had to
is
be.
that your mum again?
It is. Sorry. This had to be designed effectively as dual use.
Yeah.
While planning was outstanding, we knew what we wanted it to be. Everyone wanted it to be, but if it didn't get planning permission, it had to be able to revert back.
Yeah. So the situation is that we've got planning for 319 rooms here. We're putting a subsequent planning application to change it to 326 rooms, which we now have got the permission for. So that's what James is referring to.
Yeah. So what will happen is more likely, because you'll see as we're going on, there'll be infill sections which are done on underneath each one of these, and all of this area will be parcelled off into rooms, whether it's a kitchen, which will be slightly larger, or bedrooms, obviously smaller.
Yeah. So this steel is in case it needed to be a large open room for the secondary use. Yeah.
Right. If we go this way, lift shaft obviously partly up.
Yep. So how many lift shafts? Is it one per block?
No, there's one in this block, but there's two in the
yeah.
in the other block.
In block B.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Again, the lift shafts are precast concrete. They're lifted in sections. They're just craned one on top of the other. It should be an incredibly simple process because it should all be dry fitted before it arrives on site. Invariably, it's not. That's just construction for you. So it is simple. You put one piece on top of the other until you're right at the top.
So you're up to 6 stories here.
Well, 6 pieces, but only 3 stories.
Oh, right.
So you get
Why do
2
you have a
pieces to a story.
Why do you have a big bit and then a small bit? And
Weight. If you did it in one single, as in one per story, it would just be too heavy.
But why aren't they all the same size, these sections?
Again, just for stability.
Oh, right, okay.
It's
Right.
an engineered.
Sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
sorry,
That's who
go
I
on.
was calling me. so-
Right, go on, you go.
Hello, Sam.
Well, what? That's, oh, yeah. James. Yeah.
When I
This is
went
gonna
on
go up to 8
holiday,
stories.
Ian had.
Are we back on? Right, starting again, we're on the tour of Cathedral View with project manager from DW
Hello.
Hicks, James Wrigley. So let's have a chat about fusion whilst we're here, shall we?
Okay, what you see is a structural fusion frame. It's made of 3 components, if you like. You've got your perimeter wall, which if you scout around on the camera you'll see it's grey insulated. It comes as an insulated panel. The second component is the floor cassettes. You may or may not see them dropping them on with the crane as we walk out. and they come in large sections, effectively like tabletops. They just drop them into position because it's all prefabricated. And then the last bit is the internal walls, which aren't insulated, but they come again. They're not individual sticks that arrive, they're panels that arrive on site, prefabbed.
Yeah,
So all the work goes into the design before it arrives on site.
and that's why it's such a long lead time to
That's
get
it.
the fusion
Yeah.
panels ordered a long way out.
So that's like what would conventionally be stone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What about
that's right, but
so
instead this is structural.
James,
So there'll be effectively 9 stories sat on top of that. at
Jay
the
was
end.
just asking about the soundproofing between floors.
Yeah, okay, so it's the sound installation is effectively defined by the acoustic engineer. Having done quite a few of these projects now, you tend to know what it's going to be. So on the underside of the cassettes will be a resilient bar, resi bar. Below that will be a couple of layers of soundboard, plasterboard. Above that will be insulation, and then on top of the actual cassette itself, on top of the OSB that you can see above your heads.
OSB.
No,
Okay.
not a chance.
Google that at
something
home,
board
OSB.
will be a soundboard, and that will be formed of 2 parts. A small amount of foam underneath, which provides a separating layer, and then a dense sort of cementitious top to it, which is mass effectively for reducing sound. So you've got one to stop the sound transferring through, and then you've got the mass as well, which prevents it going. So it's made up of composite layers effectively to achieve.
Top of this bit, it'll be packed up basically.
No, most of it is underneath. On top it's a single board, 28 mil thick, but it's made of 2 sections. 20 odd mil of cementitious material, and underneath that is like a foam layer, which is a sound separation layer, effectively.
And would that get signed off by building control at the end, would it?
Yeah, though what actually happens is you have the acoustician or acoustic testing back in,
And so the results get sent to building control?
Yes.
Right.
and then they say yes.
Yes. No, they say yes.
They say yes.
The answer is yes.
Yes. And on the occasions when it is no, it's more mass is the answer. Wait for people to catch up a little.
So we haven't got any of the bathroom pods in yet.
We have above, but we're not going to be able to get up there.
Right.
Again, timescales on delivery
Yeah.
basically meant that they weren't going to be here for the ground
right.
floor.
Oh.
So any of the pods for the ground floor will be disassembled, brought in and reassembled on site.
Right.
So this is the foundation of the pot.
Sorry?
This is the foundation of the pot.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a problem. Yeah.
No, the bathroom.
Okay,
pot.
so yeah, the 2 different types we've got here. This is a DDA bedroom for students who may have additional needs to be supported. So it's a larger pod, bathroom pod that goes in, and it's also recessed down to provide a level entry into it. This is a standard bedroom. The pod will sit straight on top
okay.
of this floor.
What? It's a disabled access room, basically.
Yeah.
Why is that recessed then?
Because of the makeup, effectively the shower has to sit flush as well
Right.
to the ground, and you can't run your pipe work anywhere else other than down,
Right.
and you need a level entrance in. So that's where the shower trap will sit into,
Right. Okay.
and the actual pod will sit further down, and it will allow a level access into the room itself.
Is there going to be a step up into these pods then for the pod rooms?
No,
Because-
but there is a step up where the shower is, which allows the shower waste to run
okay.
effectively at floor level.
Right. Because at Globeworks, there's first one there was a step to go in, and Globeworks is just level to get in.
That's correct. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's different ways of achieving
No,
the
it's-
fall on the
interesting.
sanitary ware.
And
What
actually,
is this pipe for? This pipe, the big one.
Oh, that is that. No, that. Hang on. Let's make sure which one it is, and I'll tell you. It's leftover drainage pipe from to take all the rainwater away, and to they actually have you wouldn't think it, but they have lots of slots in them, which lets the water escape from them, but the water goes through there and into the attenuation tank, which slows the water getting into the main sewers. And the reason it's slotted is that the early parts can get silted up, and it's to let the silt get out so it doesn't block your pipes up.
Right.
So it's a drainage pipe with holes in all over the place.
And whilst we're here, it's useful just to mention this shared. Do you remember when we were at Globeworks, we looked in the cupboard with all of these shared services?
Yep.
This will be for 2 pods here,
Yep.
and the shared services coming up here. And I guess they'll all be going straight through and all
They'll
the way
go
up.
straight through, and they should all line up absolutely perfectly.
They are going to all line up.
They are. Well, the first bit has been achieved. All the pipes are in the right place. Once that's been done, everything else follows on.
Oh, that's good.
But this one's not cut recessed like that.
No, these are standard bedrooms. Actually, the level access is still provided to walk in, but then the shower is slightly raised, and that allows the water to get away. Yeah, that's for
How many
disabled.
disability rooms have we got in block A then?
There's 1 per floor, so
8
8
and
here
7,
and 7 on that
so
side.
15 in total.
Yeah.
Right.
9 on this one. Sorry, 9 and
Oh, sorry,
Because
we've
we've
got
got-
9
yeah.
stories, so it's 9 stories but ground and 1 to 8.
yeah,
and-
that's it.
Yeah.
You've got it. 7 on that side.
7 in ground.
16 in total.
Yeah.
Right,
Should we
wander
head
through.
What else can we see then? Is there
I mean,
you mentioned the attenuation tank.
yep, which is currently under all the pods.
Well, where is the access? There's going to be some side access, isn't there? But is it just for bikes?
It's no, is the answer. There is side access, but it has not been designated for single use.
Oh, hasn't it?
No. Certainly, the landscape condition of planning is still to be discharged,
Right.
but that is a pre-occupation condition. So it's done in conjunction with Derby City Council planning. It has to be acceptable to them. They're pretty amenable on that type of thing, so long as you're not really
Yeah, we've got a good
obnoxious
working
with them. Or,
relationship.
yeah, exactly.
Right, there's not a lot more we can show on this site. Has anyone got any other questions at all?
So this is a building 9 floor.
There's 9 stories, the ground and 8, and then block A, and block B is ground and 7, so 9 and 8, and 8
Yeah.
and 7. So it
That's
gets a bit confusing. I don't know why it's not just 1 through to 9, but any other questions anyone's got?
Are these rooms or are these the studios?
They're all pods, so they're all
All
rooms.
All rooms.
So every single one is a room.
Okay. And why is that?
Because the demand here is for rooms. Also commercially it makes more sense because you can get more rooms. Also there's not the amount of postgrads at Derby that there is at Birmingham, which typically take up the studios as well. Our other first development here was all pod rooms as well, and all 350, which we're going to visit later, all 350 let within a month in the first year and the second year. So it's still the premium site to go to. Although there's been another student development
just over the way.
over there, but it's a bit further away from the town centre. So this one's much better located.
It is, yeah.
In my humble opinion.
Yeah. And is this one going to be leased to the university as
No.
well?
Well, that's the thing, because the first one was sold to Aviva with a 30-year strip lease to the university. And we went back to the university and we asked whether they wanted the same thing, because it actually, if you're going to share facilities, management, it makes perfect sense. But they haven't signed up for a lease, so we've had to just go ahead and do what's called a direct let model, where we bring in a private operator, and we're bringing in Derwent Facilities Management, who are an excellent operator actually, to run this facility. And this is the facility that's been acquired by a London fund. I can't announce who they are yet, but when that deal's concluded, everyone will know who it is.
Okay.
And they're happy with the direct let model.
Yeah.
In fact, yes. We'll leave it at that. I'd like to tell you more, but I just can't at this stage.
I still don't understand the glow box and here.
Yeah.
What's the difference of the room? You said this is just the rooms, but glow
Pods.
box.
Oh,
Pods.
yeah, so at the Globeworks, the majority of the rooms there are studios,
Yeah.
so self-contained.
Yeah.
So probably about 2/3 studios and a third pod rooms, or rooms in a
And the shared
rooms in a wing,
kitchen.
and
Yeah.
a shared kitchen.
Shared kitchen.
This is 100% pod rooms with a shared kitchen. So no studios here. So none of the rooms here have got an integrated kitchen.
Yeah.
So everybody share the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's
What's-
not. I mean, you get. I mean, you call them pods. I call them clusters. There are clusters of different sizes within the building, which it provides a flexibility. Some students like to be part of a big family. Some people like it to be a lot more intimate. And I think we range here from 4 or 5 at the smallest, up to 8 or 9 at the biggest. I think so. There's quite a spread.
Yeah, and the rent will be different as well.
No, the rent will be the
The rent
same.
will be the same.
The
every
room
Yeah.
size is much smaller than Roblox.
No, the average room size here is 13 metres squared. Is that right?
Yeah,
13?
yeah.
For the pod or the cluster room,
Yeah.
which is a standard student room size. And when we go into Cathedral Court, you'll see how it's fitted out. And although you think, oh, it's quite small, actually the way they set it up is quite good. And
So is
it's
that
what,
case the same with Roblox? Roblox 13 square
Yeah.
meter and the 2 square meters bathroom.
roughly, yeah. The bathroom's a different manufacturer, but it's probably a little bit, maybe 2.5 square metres, but it's that kind of size, yeah. And then
the studios.
the studios, well, they range in size depending on how much space is left. So they kind of range between about 17 to 19 metres.
Bit less. I mean, typical 16 is typical for it. There is a minimum size, which I think is 15 and 0.1 or something for a studio, but certainly at the Globeworks they're all at least 16, and some of them are up to 18 metres,
Yeah.
just depending on where they are within the building and the orientation of them often.
Yeah. Any other questions? Or just for this part of the video, I'd just like to thank James for
No
showing us
problem.
around today. We'll be back again in 6 weeks' time, so I shall see you again soon.
Thank you.